Hi everyone, it's Erlene of Erlene Garcia Art and the Hollywood Carney channel. Some of you know me as Chasing Rainbows, that's my Native American name, and today I will share with you some of my authentic beadwork that I created and designed to share with you today. So I am using size 11O Mayuki seed beads. I like them because they have a large hole and the size is consistent. The leather I am using is recycled from a pair of pants from a thrift shop. So this is a basic loom that you can purchase at any hobby store or craft store. I am taking the beading thread and tying it 3 times around the end of the nail, and I am going to proceed to wrap the threads back and forth, winding around each nail until you have 14 loom threads. Make sure that each thread goes in between that coil and that you pull it firmly. The reason I am using 14 threads is because my design is 13 beads across, and always use an odd number when creating your loom work. Tie the knot 3 times at the end, and then what we're going to do is tie a piece of thread, again 3 knots on the side, and I am going to weave back and forth, and I'll probably do this about 8 or 10 times because this secures our loom work, and that's very important once we take it off the beading loom. Now if you like this particular pattern, I did create it. It is in the background of this video. You may pause now so you can copy it, or you can create your own. I did it on graph paper and use colored markers, pencils or crayons, whatever you have on hand. Now let's begin by picking up 13 black beads. I usually flip the loom over. You don't have to do that. You can push it up through the back side. This is just the way I've been doing it for 40 years. So let's continue this way so it's easier for me. So what I did is I laid the 13 beads down in between each of the threads. I flipped the loom over and I put my John James needle through the bottom of the beads. Make sure that you can see your needle shine in between each bead, then that way you know that you're catching it on the loom. For your third row, pick up 1 shiny turquoise color, 5 black, 1 matte turquoise color, 5 black, 1 shiny blue. Make sure that all of your beads are the same size and close in color for that rainbow effect, and make sure that you have nice lighting. And I like to use a white background or some type of white paper so I can get the true color of the beads. I filmed each row of the beads so you could follow along with me. As a teenager, I started doing loom work, and then I started making beaded earrings and have had my beadwork shown, sold, and exhibited in many galleries from Oklahoma to California. It's something that I'm very proud of, and have also had them featured in magazines, worn by celebrities, and in movies, and on the American Music Awards show. So there's quite a few things, and I'm really proud of it. And I've had a lot of people ask me to teach them how to do intricate beadwork, and for a lot of us Indians, we don't teach non-natives, but I am very proud of my heritage, and I decided I am going to share my art with the world and with anyone who wants to learn the authentic way and be taught by a real Native American Indian. When you are creating your beadwork, always think positive thoughts, because your energy will go forward in your artwork to the wearer. Now, as you can see, the rainbow is so beautiful. I put a little tiny cross in the beginning of the design, and I don't know if you can see next to that mauve color, there's white, and then there's a pale mint green, and then yellow, and then orange. Now I've come to the end of my thread, and I need to re-thread it. So let's end it by weaving backwards 2 or 3 rows and cutting our thread. I am able to do this because the Miyuki beads have a large hole, and it makes it easier for ending and starting your new thread. If you don't have Miyuki beads and you're using regular seed beads, you can sew along the edge of your loom thread and carefully hide your knot. Now, starting my new thread, I started 3 rows back to the left where the yellow is. I weaved back and forth through the same 3 rows going toward myself and came out where the mauve colored bead is, and now I'm ready to continue. When you start a project like this, always start with something small like a bracelet or hoop earrings or a barrette, and then that way you have an idea of what it takes before you start to make a hat band or a belt. So now we're going to finish up the little cross, and we're almost to the center of our bracelet. I chose to recreate the colors of that center mauve diamond. The design that I created for the center represents 2 hearts going forward toward the sunset with faith. The center diamond represents the universe that you share with your significant other, and the triangles on the sides represent the mountains that you have traveled together. And of course, the little crosses represent the faith that you have in each other. Now you are almost done, so what you're going to do is recreate the mountains and the universe and the faith crosses. A lot of my bead collection I have had since I was a teenager. I even inherited some ghost beads from my late aunt. That's what we call the beads once they have passed and you have received the beads. And of course, I use them very sparingly, and they are one of my favorite seed beads that I have in my collection. And I probably have about 300 or more colors of seed beads and bugles. And of course, I have to have the rainbow, represent the rainbow, like my name, Chasing Rainbows. Obviously, you don't have to have that many when you're just starting out. Think of the colors that come in a crayon box, and then carry that crayon box to the bead area of the store you're shopping in and buy red, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, white, and black. And then later on, you could purchase gray to go with the black. You can purchase brown to go with the orange, and so on. So now we're coming to the end, and we need to slightly roll the loom work forward and carefully, so you don't lift any threads off of the coil. So I'm just going to twist that little butterfly bolt, and now I have enough space to finish the bracelet. And I'm going to end as we began with the 2 rows of black, and then we are going to weave back 2 rows, and then we are going to weave forward the 2 rows and weave in between the threads about 8 or 10 times, and then you're going to come back out on the right side if you're right-handed, sew along the one edge of the thread of the loom, and proceed to go back and forth through the last couple of rows of your seed beads. That way you can hide your thread and you won't have a big giant knot showing. Wow, that looks so pretty. Look at the weaving. Yours should look just like that as well. So now we're ready to take it off the loom. Oh, I'm so excited. Look how pretty that is. Wow. So what we're going to do is cut all the loops, and I'm going to tie each and every 2 threads together, and then those 2 threads together. So we will have our knots nice and clean like that. Trim it, and of course they will be folded under and hidden when we attach it to our leather. Oh gosh, look at that. I'm so proud of myself. And you should be proud of yourself as well. So now we're going to take our leather, a ruler, a rotary cutter, and a mat to cut on, and measure about 2.5 to 3 inches depending on the width that you want your beaded cuff to be. I'm using a leather hole punch, and we'll punch 3 holes on each side of our cuff, and then we're going to thread our needle with a knot and go from the bottom up. We're going to tuck our weaving underneath the beadwork, and we will sew along the edge of the loom thread. I sew from the top layer of the leather, but if it's easier for you to sew all the way through the leather and then back again, then do it that way, and continue sewing all the way around. Now let's cut those corners off at an angle, and we're going to do some beaded edging. Now this is totally optional, but it does complete your bracelet. You will be starting with 3 beads, and this is the only time you're picking up 3 beads. So back into the leather and try to stay at the edge as close as possible. Once you've made your little loop, go through only the black bead, and your turquoise bead will be the edge. So pick up another turquoise and black, sew at the edge, and go through only the black bead again. You will see a beautiful fringe right before your eyes. And trying to make sure that on the turquoise beads that they are all cohesive. They're all laying exactly the same direction, and continue all the way around. This edging can be used on your medicine bags, on your hair barrettes, on any of your beading projects that require just a little bit more oomph. And you can also increase where the turquoise beads are and put 3 beads there, and it makes your edging a little bit larger. But for the bracelet today, I feel that just the 2 bead edging is perfect. I love the way it looks. It's very smooth, and it will not get caught on anything. So now that we're to the edge, I'm just going to sew along the edge without the beads. This will enforce the edge of your leather. I decided not to put beads here because that is where the ties will be. Now let's continue the beaded edge. Remember, we start with 3 and then continue with 2 all the way to the other end, and then we will sew where our straps will be. This project was so easy that I already started another bracelet, so that one will be up on my Etsy shop soon. So let's cut the 3 straps, and they're about 12 to 14 inches long, depending on the size of your wrist and how long you want your ties to hang. So let's tie a knot and then cut that straight edge at an angle. Now my favorite part, let's try it on and see what it looks like. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love the colors. I love the story behind it. This is a gift, and I hope he likes it. Look at the edging. That is just right on. It's nice and smooth, and this could be worn from day to evening. I am so excited about this bracelet. So the loom work took about 3.5 hours. The edging took about another hour, and it probably took me about 20 minutes to decide on which beautiful seed beads to use. Native American beadwork is considered a lost art because it can be time consuming. So take your time, enjoy the journey, and remember, this is a timeless piece of art. And I really hope that I inspired you to create something amazing and one of a kind. Don't forget to press subscribe and check out my other videos, because there's lots of fun ideas and suggestions how you can create and sell your own art for your own business. Have a happy day. Bye.